2026 at 8:20 p.m., 5050 South Lake Drive, Cudahy, Wisconsin. Prior to this meeting, notice was given to the community post in the appropriate places. Notice was also given to the news media that requested it, namely the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel and MySouthShoreNow.com.
Roll call, Alderperson Levy? Here. Alderperson Phillips? Here. Alderperson Haynes?
Here.
Alderperson LaFerski?
Here.
Alderperson St. Rebelco?
Here.
Also present is Battalion Chief Piper, Chief Andrews, Deputy Clerk Treasurer Manasseh Leonard, we've got City Attorney Larson, DPW Director Burkle, City Administrator Larson, and myself.
Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Presentations and public hearings, we have none. Public comment, agenda items only. Each speaker will be limited to 1 3-minute presentation for each public comment or hearing from Cudahy residents placed on the agenda. Any discourse between the speaker and council, if absolutely necessary, will be minimal as to avoid potential open meeting law violations. No comments will be received at this time for matters that will be or have been the subject of a public hearing, because the proper time for such comments is during the public hearing.
Okay, and with that, like last time, council, please be aware that if questions are being asked and they're from your district, please get back to them as soon as you can with the answers. If it is appropriate to answer during any of the topics, please do so.
All right, so we have comments, agenda items only.
And Tom Schmidt, 3954 East Birchwood. When you get to number 3 on your discussion on this lead service line pilot project, I need some more information, maybe everybody else in this city does too. What's this gonna cost us as a homeowner? You got some lines that are in the road, some lines that aren't in the road. Them are my questions. Thank you.
Any other comment? Agenda items only.
Thomas Martin, 3735 Pulaski, regarding the committee of the whole meeting. We'd like to receive an update on the video system the residents paid $128,000 for. So the meeting is currently being audio recorded by the city and can only be accessible via a public records request. I'm not able to make many of these meetings due to work travel. Can you make those audio recordings available without having to pay a $10 public records fee?
I don't know the answer to that right now.
And then how do I know what time this town hall on the 18th is? I searched the Journal Sentinel legal notifications and it doesn't exist there either.
It's from 4 to 7.
4 to 7, thank you.
Any other comments, agenda items only? Going twice. Final call. Moving on, consent agenda items. Item 1, minutes of the Plan Commission held March 10th, 2026. Item 2, minutes of the Committee of the Whole held April 13th, 2026. Item 3, minutes of the Special Common Council meeting held April 13th, 2026.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Alderperson St. Rebelco, seconded by Alderperson Levy. Roll call, Alderperson St. Rebelco?
Yes.
Alderperson Levy?
Yes.
Alderperson Phillips?
Yes.
Alderperson Haynes?
Yes.
Alderperson LaFerski?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Items removed from consent agenda, we have none. Old business, we have none. New business, item 1, mayor's appointments to boards, commissions, and committees. A, celebrations committee, Jessica Lewinsky Hamilton.
So Mrs. Hamilton is a city resident. She's also on staff here. She expressed interest in helping us out, and since I had a vacancy, she's the only one that stepped up. So it's pretty much that in a nutshell.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion approved by Alderperson Phillips, seconded by Alderperson Haynes. Roll call, Alderperson Phillips?
Yes.
Alderperson Haynes?
Yes.
Alderperson LaFerski?
Yes.
Alderperson St. Rebelco?
Yes.
Alderperson Levy?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Item 2, discussion and necessary action regarding the request of Brothers Sports Bar located at 5142 South Packer Avenue for a temporary extension of premises in the backside parking lot on May 23rd, 2026 from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m.
I'll let Alderman Ames take this one.
Hi, was contacted by the city clerk. Brothers has submitted applications in the past, and there's never been an issue, and everything's been checked. So there was no need to hold a rules and license committee meeting for this, and to have it fast-tracked to a common council meeting tonight.
Well, my observation, as I drove down Packard Avenue on Sunday morning, wow, I thought, wasn't this on the agenda for like May 23rd, and I thought they were having a party there. They had people in their parking lot, and they had barricades, and a bunch of motorcycles, and I don't think that was, you know, I called Kelly and asked her, did I miss something? Did we approve an event for them on May 3rd?
I did check, there were no applications or permits issues, excuse me.
You know, so I get there hasn't been any issues in the past, but that's why it's always nice to have things go through committee. But, and also ensure that people don't just overstep their bounds, because there were motorcycles, and I saw things on wherever information that there was motorcycle blessings, but again, didn't take a picture to see if people were carrying alcoholic beverages, but all I know, when you have more than 10 or 20, 15 people in a parking lot, the odds are pretty good, especially right outside of a bar. So, just bringing that up.
Do we have a representative from Brothers present?
Yeah.
Why don't you come on up? State your name for the record, please.
Christopher Krogman. Susan Krogman is the owner of Brothers. She's out of town right now. We had a breakfast, pre-party breakfast for the bike blessing. We were outside, we had too many people in the bar, we didn't expect to be overcrowded. We only were there for like 3 hours. Everybody left by noon. We were there from 9 to 12.
I did everybody get that email too, about the noise? No?
Oh, the noise from Morris?
From the lady from Morris, yeah, so, I mean, I know motorcycles make noise, I used to work for Harley Davidson, so I have nothing against those motorcycles at all. But, again, 3 hours is too long. When we have something in our books that says you need to request and get a permit for extended premises to have a function, you need to do it every time. Even if you anticipated you were gonna have people for breakfast, that's not a very big place inside. So I guess that was a little lapse in judgment on their part, to stub their toe this last weekend and then fast track it to the council for a permit for a function in 3 weeks, because they couldn't even get their paperwork in early enough to go to committee.
Sue's pretty on the ball with everything that she does. I apologize for her, but, I mean, this was just, like, it just got a little bit, I mean, we just got people in from out of town that just showed up.
Is this being
There was
put
some,
in,
I'm sorry.
is this being requested, because you realized the error of your ways and you were?
No, Sue put in this request for the 23rd for a celebration of life.
It
Sam
sounds,
Snyder had passed away, and his family would like to come down. They live up north, and he used to hang out in the area. They lived in the area their whole life. So they want to come down from up north and basically have.
it just sounds like this was an unfortunate circumstance, like he just said they didn't expect that many people, and he had to empty the bar because he probably exceeded capacity. Had he not done that, and there'd been an issue there, we'd have a bigger issue we'd be talking about, so. It just sounds like it was an unforeseen thing with no intention or malice to have a party and whatever, so I think it's just one of those things.
And the police weren't called.
This is the first I'm hearing, so no one briefed me on it.
The application was received, only 2 days past the deadline to make the April, rules, laws, and licensing meeting, which is why the request was made to the chair, to see if it could come to council so that it could be approved prior to their event. We haven't had complaints about other events that they've had, however, given what the circumstances from Sunday's event, I'm not aware whether or not there was any alcohol present to have created a violation or not.
I think if no police were called and it was just a drive-by situation, I feel like.
Geez, sorry, to call the police on Sunday morning. I did the weekend before, there's people in the window, sorry.
I just wasn't briefed and I didn't.
No, I know, sorry.
You know, they may, well, I'd have to check the CAD. But no brief. Internally for my department,
No,
not you.
Anybody have anything else to offer, a question, or?
Well, I did get an email, was this an email we got today, was this?
Well, we got an email about
It's
a.
not a
related.
situation. It was just in regards to noise, not.
It talked about motorcycles.
It wasn't specific to this.
It was screen noise.
It's-
I did follow up on that, but I'll make a motion to approve, but just know that if other events get out of hand, it is your license on the line. If the police did get called for something and people got served outside, I hope you have signs, I believe, when I've been in there. You do have signs, no alcohol beyond this point, unless you have something like this, so that's,
Right.
it's up to your bartenders and it's up to the owner, to make sure that there's no other issues. And it sounds like everything was under control, since the police did not get involved. But, I'll make a motion to approve this temporary extension. And, just because it is a celebration of life, so we can't always make those, requests, ahead of time and meet deadlines.
I'll second.
Okay, motion made by Alderperson Phillips, seconded by Alderperson Levy to approve.
Any further discussion?
Roll call, Alderperson Phillips,
Yes.
Alderperson Haynes,
Yes.
Alderperson Lepersky,
Yes.
Alderperson Savory Bellco,
No.
Alderperson Levy,
Yes.
motion carries 4-1. Item 3.
You're all good.
Thank you.
Item 3, discussion and necessary action regarding award of bid for lead service line pilot projects. This is not included in your packet. This was sent in 2 separate emails, one on Friday and then one, I believe, either Monday afternoon or this morning.
Some quick background. I'm sure the council is aware, because we've talked about it several times over the years. The lead and copper rule was passed a few years ago, and then some enhancements were added. The federal government just adopted the enhanced lead and copper rule. It is filtering down. Wisconsin DNR is currently rewriting code. I am going to Madison tomorrow with one of the water utility operators. We're going to listen to some regulatory updates and see where DNR is on adopting a new code. But the bottom line is, by 2037, all utilities in the country have to have all of their lead lines completely removed. Cudahy is an older community, has a significant number of lead lines. Our current inventory, these inventories constantly get updated as we have better information. Right now, a water service line runs from the water main into the house. The utility owns the portion from the water main to the curb stop, which is generally right around the property line. The homeowner owns the portion from that curb stop into the house. Right now, our inventory shows we have 1,053 lead lines on the street side, 187 that may be lead but are unknown. On the private side or the resident side, we have 1,632 lead lines, and we have 1,491 that are unknown and may be lead. That number is probably higher than it actually is. What the DNR classifies as maybe lead is very generous. Utilities our age are constantly arguing with DNR right now about what records will accept, what ones they won't. But at the end of the day, there's about 5,600 services in the city of Cudahy. So 35, possibly 40% of them could have lead on either side. The utility's been working for about 1.5 years to develop a pilot program. Since we haven't done any large-scale lead replacements, we don't know what's involved with bidding the project, writing the specs, getting a contractor in, and how all of that's gonna work. So the utilities goal was to design a pilot project that would handle about 200 homes. We applied for safe drinking water loan money through the DNR. To do these projects, we applied in 3 separate census tracts. Cudahy has 5 census tracts in it. 3 of them contain most of our lead. The DNR then looks at our application with this census tract data, and they determine loan amounts, but also something that's called principal forgiveness. Principal forgiveness is DNR terminology for grant. So in 3 census tracts, Cudahy has 1 census tract for this project this year, qualified for 100% principal forgiveness. So basically, the bulk of the expenses associated with replacing the private sideline will be covered by DNR money. We have a 2nd census tract that's at 50%, and a 3rd one that's at 25%. We just received bids last week and opened them. We only had 1 bidder for this project. The engineers on the project, CDM, are doing lead work all over northern Illinois, Wisconsin, doing a lot of work in Milwaukee. They contacted a lot of construction companies during the bid process to try and find out why we were only getting 1 bid. It's a combination of several factors. One is, we bid this late. A lot of companies are already booked up for the year, so they couldn't meet our completion times. Also, 200 lead service is not a very big project. More and more of these companies are looking for 400, 500, 600 lead services to tie up several crews. And the last thing was just some of our due dates. We wanted to get this done before winter so roads could be restored and everything's buttoned up before it starts snowing. Given that, Miller Pipeline was the only bidder we had, but it is a good bid. CDM reviewed it. They compared it to pricing they're seeing both in southeast Wisconsin and northern Illinois, and these prices are right where our estimates were. So it is a very good bid. Miller's very qualified. They're doing work in northern Illinois, Racine, Kenosha. They've done work for the last at least 2 years in South Milwaukee. South Milwaukee's been very aggressive with lead line replacement. They're probably 75% done. So, as I said, depending on which census tract this is in, there is state money available. We do have to meet certain timelines to close on these loans and get this state money. We have about 200 homes picked out. We have not done much communication with residents because up until now, we could not answer any questions. If we had public meetings, we sent mailers out about lead service lines, people are gonna ask, are you doing my house this year? How much is it gonna cost? We didn't know the answers to those questions. Now we do. Another thing the utility has done, we secured a $150,000 communication grant through the DNR. We're using that grant to start doing outreach. Now that we can put together numbers, we start to have a better understanding of the cost of this project. We're utilizing Lauren with the city, obviously, and then Kayla Lane works for the Cudahy Health Department. We're using this grant to fund part of her time. She's gonna be our communication specialist on this. So Kayla's already got a plan, and this is something for the mayor, city administrator to discuss. If a committee of a whole meeting or something wants to be held, so we can bring Kayla in to explain our communication strategy, so the city council's got a better idea what's going on, we're more than happy to do that. We're doing that with the water commission next week. So we do have a communication strategy. There'll be public meetings, there will be mailers, door hangers, a website's being created, everything that we could possibly think of. So at the end of the day, what we really need is approval. Water Commission has approved this bid, so we get moving forward on the project. As I said, one of the issues to secure this safe drinking water loan money, which includes this principal forgiveness of these grants, is we have to approve this bid, the contract signed, and meet some deadlines with DNR. If anybody has any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Alderman Haynes.
Yeah, does this include like the commercial industrial properties also?
Residential,
Residential only?
yes.
Alderperson Phillips.
So, just kind of, can you explain the bid?
Sure.
I heard a little bit of that, we don't really know where this money is gonna be spent, but we have 200 homes that are picked out for this, is that correct?
We have 200 homes. The bulk of the work we're gonna do is on the private side. We targeted private side because those are the places where things are unknown. what's involved with getting in people's houses, getting right of entry permit signed, what has to be done with plumbing, once we get in the house, things like that. So we're gonna do quite a bit, we're hoping to do 200 private side services. One of the things you never wanna do is replace part of a service. If it's led from the street going all the way to the home, you wanna replace the whole thing. So the utility will be spending utility funds to replace some utility-owned lead services also. But we targeted a lot of areas where over the last 10 or 15 years, the city has replaced water mains. And until the last few years, no one replaced all the lead services when they replaced water mains. They replaced the utility portion, and the homeowner's portion was left in the ground. So that's how we're doing a lot more private side than we are public side.
And then how are these homes going to be picked out?
We've got a
Are
list
they
of,
in a current census tract, like you presented and we didn't win the, grant for in the past? About a year ago, you presented that.
so we've got
Or
3
you-
census tracts we do have funding for.
All over the city.
And we have 3 census tracts we do have funding for. Different levels of funding for each one. So we will be doing the census tract that we actually, looks like we're getting the most principal forgiveness in, is a tract where we're gonna do the most services. The census tracts, by and large, I don't know, did, JJ send out the map of the census tracts? It's 1601, 1602, and 1603 are the tracts, and that's where most of our lead is. Realistically, there's very little lead in census tract 5 and 4. Those are the newer areas where just about everything's copper, except for a few stragglers where homes were built very early.
So what were the census tracts?
1801, 1802, and 1803 is where the bulk of the city's lead is. And those are the 3 census tracts where work will be done this year.
So District 1, these census tracts relate?
The census tracts really don't relate to political boundaries. They kind of do, but not
They're close
really.
enough, but they overlap. So most in District 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah, and 1, 2, and 3-ish are the older parts of town where there's lead. Assume anything that was built before 1950 may have lead line. That's kind of the cutoff date that we've seen with construction in the city of Cudahy.
Alderperson LaFerski.
Is the funding limited, or do you get more money for doing more services?
We apply for the number of services we want to try and do. The DNR has a pot of money that they divide up between municipalities all over the state, so they determine how much you're gonna get. The other issue is, this money's coming from the federal government. With the current administration, public health does not seem to be a priority, so no one's sure how long funding is gonna last for this type of work.
Anybody else?
So the amount of funding we're getting from DNR this year is hard capped at X amount of dollars. So our goal is to do as many services in each census tract as we have funding for.
So the 200 homes that were picked and the money you're getting to the work, how much of that would impact the homeowner as far as cost? We have a ballpark?
We've got to break that down a little more. Right now, the quote is $4,200 for the private side. The DNR funding, depending on the census tract, will cover portions of that. There's some miscellaneous costs. It will cover some piping, maybe the first 10 feet going into the home. We've got older homes where water meters and the surface coming in, it's buried under a bed or in a pit, things like that. So until the contract gets in each individual home, we're not sure what type of extra cost may be involved. Also, we are putting in copper lines, but there's gonna be grounding issues. Plumbing inspector, electrical inspector, obviously have to take a look at every one of these installations. There's gonna be grounding issues involved in some of these older houses because a lot of them are using their water lines as their primary ground, which isn't really kosher. This project can cover some of that grounding, but possibly not all.
Okay.
The money you're getting, will that be divided equally among the homes that you're doing?
It will be, so,
Price per foot, maybe?
well, as I mentioned, there's different amounts per census tract. So if we do 25 homes in census tract 1802, okay, those 25 homes, we will cover the same items for each one of those homes. So the base bid to replace the service is $4,200. Whatever portion of the DNR money is used as a grant, it would cover that portion of that $4,200. Are there gonna be extras because lines have to move around in the interior? Is there grounding issues? That has to be figured out once we see each individual home. But a lot of those expenses are covered by that principal forgiveness. But as I said, we've got one census tract close to the lake that gets 25% grant money. So 25% of the eligible items will be paid for through the Safe Drinking Water Law. The other census tract is 50%, same thing. Eligible items be covered up to 50%. The last census tract, where we're actually doing most of the work, and we've got about $840,000, that's 100% principal forgiveness.
Yeah, and that's gonna need to be explained to the homeowners.
But that's why we haven't really contacted homeowners yet, because we had no dollars to attach to this until now. And, you know, that's the first question people are gonna wanna know. How much is it gonna cost? Now we can start breaking those costs down and give them some ideas. And this is gonna be going on for 10 years. We've learned some things already off this pilot project bid, and we're gonna learn a lot more during construction. But this is going to go on for a while. I don't know if anyone's been paying attention to our neighbor to the south. South Milwaukee's been very aggressive the last few years. The streets have looked like Swiss cheese. Utility there may be a little, they have definite ideas. They want the lead out, so you're given the opportunity to let the contractor replace your lead line, or they will shut your water off in South Milwaukee. But, they are banging them out. No one's ever completely happy about this, but it is gonna increase the value of your property, and it's something that legally we have to do. There's not a lot of wiggle room here.
How long will residents have to pay for this?
The way our ordinance is set up, they have 3 years. If they can't make a payment immediately, they can be paid for in 3 installments.
So that's special assessed, then it would be divided amongst those.
It would be just like a road project or something where there's an assessment.
Okay, anybody else? Alright, go ahead.
No, I just, thanks for working on this, and it's good, that's been,
Oh, just wait, it's gonna be going for a while. It'll be
I
dead
know,
before this is
moving
over.
forward, but everybody's been anticipating it, so we might as well. But gotta have the numbers. And we look forward to, hearing about the communication plan, because that's key. So, let's get that on the
Like I
next.
said, whenever the council wants a overview of the communication plan, we'll be happy to put something together.
Okay, thanks, Ronnie. Alright, with that being said, we'll be looking for a motion to approve the bid.
I make a motion to approve the bid.
What's the amount?
Frank, what's the amount of the bid?
$1,398,370.
Where does the money come from, the utility?
This is coming from Safe Drinking Water Loan Funds, portions of which will have to be paid back by the utility, and portions of which the principal would be forgiven and will not have to be paid back.
Good?
Yep.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor, we're looking for a second.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Alderman Haynes to approve the bid, second by Alderperson Phillips. Any more discussion?
Roll call, Alderperson Haynes,
Yes.
Alderperson Kapinski,
Yes.
Alderperson St. Rebecca,
Yes,
Alderperson Levy,
Yes.
Alderperson Phillips,
Yes.
motion carries 5-0. Item 4, discussion and necessary action regarding approval of an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Cudahy and Milwaukee County Office of Emergency Management for emergency medical services.
Okay, so this is in regards to the shared services contract. It comes up for renewal every year, just about, so I'll defer to Lieutenant Chief Piper. He can give you all the intricacies and some of the details. From my understanding, according to the chief, we're actually doing fairly well on this deal, so.
Yeah, I've kind of got the cliff notes here, and I can expound upon each one if necessary. So essentially what's going to be happening here is they're going to continue to provide education for all our EMS clinician levels to maintain state licenses as well as our EMT certifications. They're gonna deploy CEUs, which are clinician development units. They do this right now, they're gonna continue to do that. Essentially what that is they use these vehicles to drive to our department as well as everybody else in the county to deliver education for us, hands-on, in person. Provide both offline and online medical direction. So when we're on calls where we are in a situation where we're looking for some better advice on how to proceed, we have the ability to turn our radios on and actually get a live doctor from a hospital on the call. Furthermore, we're able to, what's deemed as live stream some of our Zols or our defibrillators, and they can see exactly what we're doing with that patient there to make competent decisions. They can maintain our cardiac equipment, again, if that Zol or that defibrillator I was just talking about. Maintain current cardiac monitoring, defibrillator inventory, and communication devices. So they, excuse me, they help us maintain those. So if we have issues, we can contact the Office of Emergency Management over in Milwaukee County, and they can either come and fix ours right away, they can provide us a loaner, as well as the communication devices we use. So it's simply just a cell phone that is tied to our defibs. I'm having a hard time here. That allows us to live stream that information. Again, that's not paid by anybody here. That's all done by the county. Fund capital replacement of those defibs and the communication equipment. For instance, one of those defibs is upwards to almost $80,000. So our units, we have 3 of them just here in the city of Cudahy. So again, they're going to fund capital replacement of those cardiac monitors as well as the communication devices, those cell phones and the services needed. And lastly, provide DA compliant software for tracking controlled substances. So we have controlled substances on our rigs, we have controlled substances inside of our firehouse. All that's tracked every single day, and it's put in software that's tracked by people way better than me. So again, that's all DA compliant. So these are all things that this agreement has between the county and specifically us in Cudahy as well as everybody else inside the county here.
So Chief, correct me if I'm wrong, when I talked to Chief Bloor yesterday, this agreement also nets us more than our neighbors as far as rate of return for when we transport somebody. We're gonna average about $60,000 to $61,000 a year as compared to our neighbors who are significantly less. So,
yeah, if we compared ourselves directly to South Milwaukee and St. Francis, not getting into their numbers, but from what I can see from the 2026 allocation, we'll get $61,341.45 of the allowed 2.5 million that's being allocated.
Any questions?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, motion made by Alderperson Phillips to approve the intergovernmental agreement between City of Cudahy and Milwaukee County Office of Emergency Management for EMS services. Do I have a second? Second by Alderperson Levy.
Alright, roll call, Alderperson Phillips.
Yes.
Alderperson Haynes.
Yes.
Alderperson LaFerski.
Yes.
Alderperson Sedery-Bellco.
Yes.
Alderperson Levy.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Department manager, elected official updates, mayor's updates.
Okay, just got a few things I want to mention. So coming up immediately, Monday the 11th, there's a block watch at the library. So if you want to attend, please do so. That's at 6 o'clock, I think. Right? Somewhere, I think so. Yeah. May 13th is the celebrations committee, be held here at City Hall at 5:30. May 14th is the 128th Civic Dinner Dance, which some of us are going to. That's at the 128th. What else I got here? May 16th, the Cudahy High School is putting on a car show in back of the school, the grassy area. All the proceeds all go to benefit the band and the auto repair shop kids. So if you want to come spectate, please do. The antique fire truck will be there as well. All right. Update on the video audio recording stuff. Oh,
May 18th?
what did I? Oh, yep, May 18th, Town Hall. Didn't miss it on purpose.
It's here.
It's here at 4 to 7. Yep. All that'll be put on the calendar in the next couple days here. Okay. I'll refer to Administrator Larson on the video audio, what we found out and where we're headed.
After meeting with the vendor and talking through, streaming our video is not currently an option. I'm gonna work with our IT and see if we can utilize this system similarly to the conference room over there where you can't do virtual meetings. So essentially if we could set it up through Teams and get it to work, it may be possible. I haven't had an opportunity to do that with him yet. If we can't figure something out that way with this existing camera, then it's just a matter of reaching out to the vendor and finding out what it will cost to add that capability. streaming after talking with them, just at a high level, our first meeting. Streaming live, basically we might not be set up for it yet. That might be, a bit more of a process. Recording and then being able to post is probably something we can do for I'm hoping a reasonable cost, but, not sure yet. Hoping to find the free option first if we can do it, but it's gonna be somehow through some kind of third party. So, to be continued.
Okay. All right, the other thing, we all saw what happened at Sheridan Park over on the bluff, how it washed away, and there was all these cool pictures of just the bench by itself. So it is a county park, we don't own it, we have a little control over it. I saw some of the posts, I saw some of the concerns, we are concerned as well. I reached out to, County Executive Crowley's office, very high level, talked with their people over there. The problem with that area is that it's only 70 feet away from the road, which has a lot of our infrastructure in it. So 70 feet seems like a long way, but it really isn't over a short amount of time. So currently we have a meeting set up with the Milwaukee County officials to figure out a plan, what we're gonna do, how we're gonna do it, what they're gonna do, really is what it's gonna be. And express that they need to do something quickly, because we can't wait anymore for that, the day where all of a sudden the road falls in, somebody's house falls in, or we can't have that. So that's gonna be on May 27th. We'll update you once we're done with that meeting where things are going. Okay, DPW updates. Let's talk about potholes, lights. I'll defer to DPW Director Burkle. Floor is yours.
So, yeah, we got some hot topics. This has been a very bad year this winter on roads. I think we all know, we've been watching the news. City of Milwaukee and everywhere in the state of Wisconsin is dealing with this. We're no different. I'd say probably the biggest issue that we're dealing with is staffing. We're down 3 guys. I shouldn't say guys only, there's guys and gals. That's one of our biggest issues that we're having. We also could not get hot mix up until last week. So they, Payne and Dolan finally started making hot mix that was available for the municipalities and the small contractors. They were only doing it for their state-funded projects. It looks like we can get it now. Mechanics actually had the hot box out in the shop today. We will probably get that fired up as soon as possible here and start at least doing more of a permanent hot patch. What we normally use is obviously, as you guys all know, it's a cold patch product. It's definitely a temporary product, mostly temporary in winter. You put that stuff down right now, it will do pretty good through the rest of the summer. But as soon as the winter hits and they get the freeze thaw, the cold patch pops. So hot mix is really the way to go, and hot mix is almost half the cost. So we would rather, that's the main reason that we sold you all on the idea of getting that hot box. So we know we gotta use the thing. Like I said, we're gonna try to get out there this next week and get it fired up and make some more permanent patches. Some people were asking like, how, you get a call in and how do you guys actually address it? We take it by priority. I mean, obviously if it's a main drag, we're gonna hit the main drags first. If it's the side streets, then we'll hit the side streets. As always, the loudest voice seems to win the battle there. They're louder and we get more complaints in one area, well, that's where we're usually going. So that's all I really got about the potholes. We're gonna also address this at the it's gonna take me a while. Public Works Committee meeting next week. We'll be discussing or going in a little more in depth on the potholes. Streetlights, another hot topic. There's an area on I'll say, first I'm gonna tell the good thing that we did. After many, many years of having an outage in the Highlands, we finally got that repaired. We hired a boring contractor, which I did not have in the budget, so we would probably be over budget. You guys will be getting on my case about that one, but there's not much we can do. We had to get that one up and running. It's been many, many years that there's been an outage. We had a boring contractor, he bored an all new conduit out there. We redid all the bases. We were able to salvage the poles, and we ran all new conduit and wire basically for a whole stretch of about, it was almost all of Sheridan Drive, just call it, on that whole stretch in the Highlands. Some of it we were able to open cut with our own staff. We did this actually through the winter months, and now we just finished, I want to say, a week and a half ago, so that area should be finally lit up. I did have a couple calls from residents. They were very, very happy to finally have lights, so that's a good thing. The one other area that we've been getting a little beat up on is New York, Birchwood, Indiana, and kind of Dale Avenue. There's a little small section over there, it's called the Circuit for that section over there. In the wintertime, we had a burnout. We replaced about 150 feet of conduit and wire. It fixed the problem. About a week later, another burnout in a different area, replaced 80 feet of conduit and wire, and now we have the latest burnout, which the electrician thinks she isolated. I'm gonna use the word thinks, because obviously we thought we had it the first time, and we didn't. We keep chasing it. But now this burnout is actually in the control cabinet, so parts were ordered immediately. That once we thought we knew what it was, parts came in actually today. I believe she picked them up, and we have to schedule with We Energies. We already notified We Energies because I know the timeline here. They need a 10-day window of notification, and We Energies will be doing the disconnect to that cabinet so we can make the repairs to the cabinet. So I'm hoping and crossing my fingers that by next week we will have lights in that area. And then the last area is Packard Avenue. That's been the one we chased for years as well. If anyone drives Packard Avenue right now, you'll notice it's like one night you're driving down the street and the west side's on, and then all of a sudden you're driving down in the street and the west side's off. And it's hit or miss. And she, and I keep saying she, that's our electrician, she keeps chasing this. Now our newest thing is John, our engineering supervisor, went out with the locator. We located out and think we isolated 2 burnouts that are at the crossings, of course, at the street, underneath the street. So I'm probably calling the boring contractor back, which is gonna be more money, way over budget, but we gotta get lights up there. So we're gonna be boring more conduit underneath the road and hopefully chasing this even more and making the repairs as quick as we can. Like I said, guys, the worst part about the streetlight stuff is none of that is a budgeted thing. So it's like, when we have to hire a contractor for this emergency stuff, or we gotta put extra time into it, or buy it, I mean, it's very expensive parts. So we go over budget, but we gotta get lights. Like I said, we're down 3 DPW employees right now. Most of those employees were not even here for 1 year. They left to go to higher paying jobs. That's basically, because we do exit interviews, and every single one of them said they were leaving for higher paying jobs. And it was mostly other municipalities, higher paying jobs. We are doing interviews later this week, actually Thursday and Friday. I think we have eight interviews set up, so hopefully I'm filling these 3 positions with some good bodies. That's what I got here, sorry. DPW staff is, if anyone noticed, both Saturday and Sunday, we had cruising. We have probably about 6 to 7 guys and gals in last Saturday, and then they pulled a half day on Sunday. We're just so far behind on everything. Like I said, we're getting beat up on the phone calls, and we're trying to catch up. If it's anything from stumping all the way to pothole patching, all the way to working the dump, you name it, we're working both Saturdays and Sundays. The good thing is, we're not gonna go over budget, or we shouldn't, because if we're down those 3 bodies, it should equal out anyways. I'm not paying 3 people. So, and then this Saturday, we are planning to do overtime as well, work a couple crews. It's unfortunate, we don't wanna have to do that, but we gotta keep up. We're falling behind.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, lastly, those of you may or may not know Jen Clark of Jen Sweet Street. She is retiring at the end of the month. She's not leaving for any other reason except that she's moving to a warmer climate to be with family. Milwaukee Local 215, that's the fire department union, is having a party for her at their union hall. It's on 60th and Holly, right? Yeah, 60th and Holly. It starts at 4 o'clock. Everyone's welcome to come. So that'll be happening on May 31st. So that's all I got.
Introduction and passage of ordinances and resolutions. Ordinances, we have none. Resolution item 1, discussion and necessary action regarding resolution number 7601 entitled, "A Resolution Allowing the Claim of Jennifer Ruiz." This is a claim for a mailbox that was hit in the last snowstorm, approved by the claims committee for the maximum reimbursement amount of $150.
City fault there?
For the mailbox?
Yeah, 100% we knew it was.
I guess this is something that's near and dear to my heart. My mailbox got hit twice. I guess, why is the amount set at 150? Let me ask you, Tim, if you had to send someone out there to replace that mailbox, could it be done for $150 with our city staff? So then why are we treating our residents like that? Why are we? I think the amount that she was asking for was 286 or 386.
I'd have to pull up the file to recall the amount.
I just think, we're supposed to be here, we shouldn't be acting like a fly-by-night insurance company and trying to weasel a lot of a payment. I think it was a legitimate payment and request, I should say. And I don't know who set that 150 amount, but if it gets knocked down in the winter, someone has to go out there and set up something temporary so that that person can continue to get their mail, and then when the ground thaws, assuming it's chopped off at grade, you have to go in and re-erect a new mailbox. And if, I've seen South Milwaukee doing it for their residents, I know Oak Creek does it, and we're giving our residents 150. So, I would make a motion that we reimburse this person the full amount she requested, as long as it doesn't exceed $400. I think it was 300 or 200.
I think Alderperson Phillips had the number, didn't you?
$336.14 is what's listed in the resolution.
As
So-
payment?
No, as the request.
The amount requested.
That's what she's requesting.
Just so that the council is aware, the claims committee has always had a policy on a capped amount for mailbox reimbursement, that exceeded my time here. When I first started on the claims committee, it was set at $100, and Mayor Pavlik then increased that at one point to 150.
Well, on Home Depot, a mailbox post costs $50 and a mailbox costs about $20 to $30.
Plus the.
So, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it's on the fees, isn't it in the fees item?
I believe it is.
It is, because this was looked at, it's been a few years, since we have looked at it, because we had a lot of these, back in the day, when I guess, our previous leadership in our public works area, no longer with us, not Frank, but somebody else, when I was the public works chair, and we had a lot of people come in and appeal. So we did say they would replace the mailbox with a temporary, and we maxed it out, that's been a few number of years, so at 150. If you wanna raise it, it needs to go back, should go to a committee, to have it looked at, because it is part of it's an ordinance and it's a fee. Again, yes, we wanna be reasonable, but we didn't wanna have everybody go pile like outlandish. I mean, we can't, they're gonna pick a box of the choice, we'd be paying $600. So we just wanted to be reasonable, so again, it just could be a reevaluation again.
I just wanna add a couple more things to that. So as far as what I remember as well is, yes, I think, Butch, we did go out there, and years ago, DPW would just go out there and dig a hole, put a new post in, and put a mailbox up. But what was occurring is somebody has their name on it, or some fancy decorative design, or you see those goofy ones where it's like a bass or something like hanging out, it's like, and people were getting angry about those, because it's like, we went to Home Depot and got I can't remember, total, $110 or whatever, and people were getting ticked about it, because that's what we were putting back, and we were like, well, hey, we're not in the market, we're not gonna go buy the bass and put the bass back. So, I think that's where that came from, but I think I do remember I think it was 100 and then they went to 150. So now, if it needs to be raised again,
Why would it be in the fees though?
Cause it's like, we set limits on self for some reason, that one ended up in the fees, it's in an order, it's set, I don't think it's just a policy.
I asked for it when mine got hit, I never received anything.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying, I don't know why it would be a fee, it's not a fee, it's a reimbursement.
Somehow it's in I thought it was documented somewhere.
We don't have a reimbursement. we don't have a reimbursement.
like maximum,
Chart or-
maybe it's policy, maybe it's just a general policy. I don't know where that would have been documented, Tim, but I know we did something, set something in place at a meeting.
Mayor.
So,
My mailbox is attached to my
Sorry.
phone, so it
Well,
never
that's
gets
not
hit.
good.
Never gets hit by
Give us a minute, I'll just find exactly where it is if you want. Attorney Larson.
I want to underscore the need to be consistent, because this is, remember, it's in the right of way. And if somebody puts a $1,000 mailbox in there, which is possible, we don't want to be liable for $1,000. And so people are going to do that at their own risk. We will cover a set amount that we determine, which should be, you should be able to put up a mailbox for the amount we set. But we're not gonna assume responsibility for everybody's personalized, fancy mailbox. That would not be, appropriate. There should be a set amount. So if we're gonna change the amount, I suppose the council could do that, but I think it should probably go back to the claims committee if it's gonna be changed.
Well, number one, it's in the right of way because the US Postal Service says it has to be there. I can't get mail delivered to my front door. And there is such a thing as staying current with the costs that are out there today. And if I come and knock your rural mailbox down and tell you, here's $150, you're not gonna be able to get anybody out there to fix that for $150. That's my point. That's my point. You heard the man sitting next to you say that. And this is one of our residents, and we should be treating our residents a little bit better than sticking it to them. Well, that's all our amount is set at is $150. It's not fair, but go ahead, do what you want.
I don't think any of us don't agree with you that the amount of a current precedent, but we have to have one. As our city attorney is noting, we can't, so policy, however, whatever it's documented, we can't set precedent and just, especially when, and just pick a number. So if we're going to take a look at what's the average cost, if it's going up this much, if we decide to do that for an average means number of purchasing a mailbox, I'm all about it. But we do have to have a maximum, just like your insurance company. Everything has a maximum of what they're gonna pay out.
When your husband's truck was sideswiped with a snowplow, you got paid to the penny for that body work on that truck. That was parked in the right of way. So tell me how this differs from that.
How did I?
Because, so the vehicle is what the vehicle hit. I mean, a mailbox, but if we're paying for someone's mailbox, so if they're gonna, no, what they would have to do then is I guess, have a receipt. I mean, we don't have an estimator for the value of a mailbox. It's a little different process than a vehicle. But, I mean, then they'd have to have like, you know, a receipt of what the value of that specific mailbox is. But I really don't think we should be liable, unfortunately, because mailboxes get hit more than cars. They shouldn't be hitting a car. But mailboxes unfortunately do sit on the right of way because of the USPS and their regulatory. We have to cut it, our losses, because we have to mitigate our risk of $1,000 value. There's people out there that do some great things to their mailboxes, and they're very nice, but I don't think hopefully they don't get hit.
Well, I think it's a good opportunity to send this back to claims or rules to look at the fee and have a discussion, take appropriate action, and resubmit to council.
I would suggest, let us find where this exactly lives, because it's not in the fee schedule, right, JJ?
No, we gotta figure out where it lives, but I think it'd be Board of Public Works, is where, if the policy of where that comes, because that's the department that Booker's is involved.
So we do have a motion on the floor by Alderperson LaFerski to approve with reversal of the full amount. So with the motion on the floor, we'll be looking for a second, if anybody so wishes.
What? Okay, seeing that there is none, motion dies. So before you, you can go back to the reimbursement of 150, or if you wanna kick it back to claims, or let us do the, final executive.
I would just
list.
say, I would, yeah, defer it back to the claims.
Is that a motion?
I would make a motion to defer it back to the claims committee.
I'll second.
Okay, motion made by Alderperson St. Rebelka to refer this back to claims committee, seconded by Alderperson Haynes.
Question,
Go ahead,
refer it back to the claims committee for what purpose?
and we can find out where
For
it lives.
reassessment, we can find the policy and we can do some background, so we can actually then determine, again, so we have a set policy in place. We don't put those in a wall and pay somebody now and then we set a precedent.
But the purpose of the claims committee, are they there to set policy, or is that something, either the Board of Public Works or some other committee should be doing? I think the claims committee is there to rule on claims.
The item is the claim. The item on the agenda and the motion is the claim.
Yeah.
The claim has to go back to the claims department, or the claims committee.
So I would envision we do our homework, and then if we find out where it lives, and then if it lives over at Public Works, and we would kick it over there and say, okay, we wanna look at this or whatever, so I think that's how we should do it.
I agree.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
I'll second.
All right, so, the roll call, we'll start with Alderperson St. Rebelka,
Yes.
Alderperson Levy,
No.
Alderperson Phillips,
Yes?
Alderperson Haynes,
Yes.
Alderperson LaFerski,
No,
motion carries 3-2. All right, public comment on any subject, each speaker will be limited to 1 3-minute presentation for each public comment or hearing from any resident placed on the agenda. Any discourse between the speaker and council that's necessary will be minimal as to avoid potential open meetings law violations. No comments will be received at this time for matters that will be or have been the subject of a public hearing, because the proper time for such comments is during the public hearing.
Okay, Karen Milkey, 5804 South Delaware. Obviously, from tonight's meeting, finance has to be on a different night than a common council meeting. This is way too long, and there's a lot of people who don't wanna sit through both. So if we could plan those on separate nights, I know it's a pain for you guys, but this night is just way too late, I should be in bed already. I've had more people going door to door, and Spectrum was one of them. I was gonna call the police department, but the person who came to my door got on the phone with their boss, and Spectrum said, I don't need to go through the city, I have all of the state permits, it's not required for me. And I said, well, it is in our municipality, you have to go to the common council, you have to get permits to be able to go door to door. So that's the second one I've had, and I think I'm the only one who's aware of it and is saying something to them. And the last person who came wasn't feeling comfortable saying, I'm calling the police, because if the police show up, they're gonna know it was me. So I wasn't real comfortable with that, but I've had more and more. More people need to be aware that they can't do that. So, my other question is I wasn't able to make the meeting that you had regarding the space on Packard Avenue. Is there a place to go where you can view the information and everything that was presented that night?
There's renditions up at the library, plus I think we have some stuff about GJ.
Is there anything, I didn't see anything on your Facebook page.
I think
I
it's on
didn't
the
see
website.
anything.
I believe it's on the city website
Okay, I'll look again.
and at the library.
Okay, and, I want to thank Tim, because after my last comment about the recycling, not knowing what was what, the next day it was fixed. I went in and looked, and it was corrected the next day, and it looks like a page was missing out of the book that was presented. The other thing I had is, what was agreed to with GFL over on College Avenue? I come by there, and I can tell you, it stinks. It literally stinks so bad. When you go over there, I go in the evening when I'm coming back from other places, and you go over the railroad tracks, and it really, really stinks over there. So I don't know what they're doing, but whatever it is, if they're not doing it, then somebody else is. Then somebody needs to figure out what they're doing, because it just reeks. And my windows were closed in my
Okay,
car.
so So Karen, when you're driving home, if you could note the time that that's occurring, and then either send us an email, send Tim an email, because we're tracking all that.
It
And,
would be between 9 and 9:30, especially Wednesday nights.
at Wednesday nights, okay.
Exact date and time.
Yeah, date and time, we're tracking all that, and then, we're still in litigation, that's all I can comment on that right now.
Okay, just to let you know. Okay, thank you.
Any other comments?
Skip J. Jeets, 2636 East Eaton Lane. I just came from the I-794 meeting in St. Francis. And I gotta tell you, that was a very detailed meeting that they had over there. I enjoyed it, even though I don't agree with them. But I would hope, when you have the meeting here on the 18th, even though the firemen and the policemen did a great job, I think even with the policemen, if they have a Motorola representative here, an IT person here, to really give us everything that goes on that he needs, I think that would be good for all of us here. I found it informative, but I'm sure there's other things that we're missing that he didn't even get to say yet. But we need to be able to explain the why, the what, the when. The equipment needs to be replaced. It was interesting about the teasers and all the other kind of things. It was all interesting. But I think that kind of detail really needs to be there for that particular meeting. And I thought the financial meeting, yeah, it could be on a different day, but it was very informative.
Any other comment?
Yep. Tom Schmidt, 3954 East Birchwood. I have several questions. Number one, to the administrator. What's the number that you wanna borrow for next year? And that's my question to you. The second question I have is, what Skip just got done saying, and it'd be nice if there was a rep here when we do have this meeting for these radios or whatever we're doing. Is there a maintenance, is there a rent, with these Motorola's? Number three, I'd really like to know why or who is the CDA treasurer. And the gentleman that presented us with the water contract, is this guy, is he representing the city of Cudahy, or is he a subcontractor from a company? I'm talking about Mr. Miller. He's retired from here. What is his job? I don't think that I have to, where did I write that down? I asked some questions at last month's meeting, and I got an answer. I didn't get an answer. I missed a phone call on Friday at 2:18 when I asked two questions at the last common council meeting. I don't think there's anybody at City Hall that works that hard or doesn't have 5 minutes to call me back or anybody else in this room.
Any other comments?
Oh, yeah.
Care what he thinks.
Pat King, 3907 East Iona Terrace. One of the first questions I have is, you older people, God, I'm amazed, just amazed. How did you get those jobs? Somebody tell me, how did you get them? Did we not vote you in? I think we did. That's how you got in. Do you do anything for your constituents? Do you do anything for your bosses? Us people who are paying you? And do you get along? You know what? I come to meeting after meeting and I'm shocked. You want me to point you out? There's three of you. Boy, always gotta go along with that city. Always gotta go along with them. You can't work for the people who put you in office. It's disgusting. And I'll tell you another thing. When people have their homes torn apart, whether it's a mailbox or it's a basement, because you have people who don't know what they're doing, you pay those people. The only reason I got paid was this guy over here. What did he say? I told my guys, don't you ever say anything again, because they said they were 50% wrong, they were 100% wrong. You were gonna do something for me. What happened? That's the only reason I got 50%. 4 of you voted for me to get it, because you knew it was wrong. I certainly hope and I pray that you get rid of some of those foremen, because you don't need 4 supervisor foremen for DPW. You know that, I know that. Make a couple of them go out to work, and let's start getting some things done. And when you get these summer help kids, you make sure a supervisor like maybe him should ride along with them and teach them what to do. Have a good night.
Any other comments?
Good evening. John Hohenfeld, 6110 South New York Avenue. Members of the council, Member Maynard, do you know what ordinance 2426 is? Anybody know what ordinance 2426 is? Didn't even see a flinch from the chief and the battalion chief. It's called the Live Within Your Means ordinance. I now see a head shaking. Yeah, your predecessor probably told you on the way out, didn't he? Yeah. What does that mean? There are certain high dollar items within our code that departments have to live within their means. What are they? Things like police overtime, fire department overtime, salt. If you don't believe me, go read the code tonight before you go to bed. When the number gets to be 90 to 95% of the spending, the finance committee and common council need to be notified. When it got to 100%, they have to transfer funds within their own budget. Now, it sounds like you're doing it, or you're acknowledging it, but you're just not doing it like your code says through a transfer resolution. What was it intended to do? Keep overtime under control. Keep large dollar spending under control. That's what it was designed for. I hear $94,000 in police overtime budget, as you said and the woman stated out there. Yeah, we don't want to see, well, sorry, the cops aren't going to patrol for the last 3 months. They're not going to respond to firefighters. You know, we're not going to salt the roads anymore. But they have to live within their means. So again, I would suggest that you look at that section of the code, and if you're not gonna follow it by a transfer resolution, take it out. Take it out, because you're not following your own rules. Items that used to be purchased under the capital equipment fund, road funds, etc., throughout the years and through the general fund have been reduced over the past number of years. And again, I've been on here for 7 years, but the levy limits and the small growth within the community have tightened your budget year after year after year after year. That's why you have to go out on a capital improvement program. I think you've scared a lot of residents going out on a 10-year plan versus 3 or 5 years, which is we always tried to do. Some mayors loved to borrow, others didn't. Maybe that's why you're in some of the mess you're in. I listened to our financial advisors, which thank God you're still using Ellers. We did some borrowing when it was appropriate and possible. When we couldn't, we didn't. We used to be able to buy squad cars out of the general fund. Right, Chief? Can't do that anymore, because just simply your funds are too tight. Again, you do what you have to do to serve the citizens of the community. Thank you for your time.
Any other comment? Any other comment? Final call on public comment on any subject. Hearing none, we are out of here.
Motion to adjourn. Motion made by Alderperson Phillips, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderperson St. Marie Pelko, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
You guys have it. You're adjourned at